Where did you post it to? So I could.
Well, we're on. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy BT. True School Sports in the building as always. I'm here with my man Rafael Calvo, reporting to you live
What's
from
up?
Las Vegas. How you doing, Raf?
Very good. And yourself?
Hey, doing good. Just another day in the neighborhood.
Sir.
Yes, sir. So we got a lot of interesting things to talk about in the boxing world. We'll start off with, I guess, the hot topic, which is Canelo Alvarez vacating his WBC middleweight title or Canelo weight title. Raf, let me give me your thoughts on the whole situation between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin and the whole vacating. Why not?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I didn't think that he would vacate the title. There are a lot of folks saying that they did know. Some people didn't know. I was one of the people that was shocked. I never thought that he would pull that trigger to do that. And I thought that what would happen is it would be another sham by the WBC and, putting the wool over our eyes and making us making us believe that they were going to continue to extend the fight and maybe the fight would happen this year. But it didn't happen that way. And it looks like they're just trying to move on, but they're also trying to make the fight versus Triple G. And I really don't know what to believe from Canelo anymore. Triple G's the new champion. I don't know what he does from here on out. There's not too many people for him to fight anymore. So could he still stick around for Canelo? I guess so. I mean, he's still going to have fights, and I'm sure that he's still going to get some publicity for it. But the crazy thing is that I think Triple G is actually getting more fame from this, and it's backfiring a little bit. So I don't know if that's what Oscar De La Hoya wanted, but in that sense, it is working. But at the same time, it looks like they could be having a problem there with Canelo's career because Canelo should be moving up instead of being told to pause a bit. Like, why should you give over your title when that's the title that he won at 160?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like I said. I made a video about this. It's kind of like I said in the other video. The 160, well, the WBC middleweight title has been pretty devalued since Sergio Martinez won it, and having with Cotto fighting at catchweights, not having with Canelo fighting at his 155 weight limit.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as this goes, I mean, I just hope that the fight gets made eventually. I mean, I know in the Dan Ray Field's article was like they were saying September 17th at Cowboy Stadium, which is a possibility. I really don't think it's gonna happen. But I was one of those people that thought that Canelo would vacate just because he knows he can't beat Golovkin. When you get into the
Right.
when you get into the matchups, Oscar knows it too. Bernard knows it as well. When you really get into the matchup, it's not an even fight. Golovkin, better pure boxer, cuts the ring off really well. Canelo's not a guy that likes to initiate action at all. He's always a guy that relies a lot on his counterpunching, and Golovkin is just his jab has too much behind it to begin with, and he moves deceptively well for a guy that's criticized for being, a come forward, kind of like destructive fighter. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, there's not a whole lot of options for him. I mean, there's Daniel Jacobs, but Daniel Jacobs has been pricing himself out, so that fight's not very likely. And then you have Billy Joe Saunders, who's been calling him out, but Sanders himself a couple of times has priced himself out. So I would actually like to see Sanders fight, just because that fight would be for the undisputed championship of the world. The winner of that fight becomes undisputed middleweight champion, and that's what I want to see in boxing in any weight class. We don't have any undisputed champions, so
Right.
that's what it is, man.
We had that with Klitschko. It was kind of cheap, and it's not the same as back in the days when a lot of guys held 2 or 3 titles and they held it for a while, And just quick question to you: how long do you think Canelo could last in the ring with Triple G? If the fight did happen, how long? Like, how would it go for you? Because at the end of the day, Canelo's a will guy. He has a lot of skills as well, but he's more heart than skills. So,
I see it playing out like this. Early rounds, Triple G starts establishing his jab. First 2 rounds, maybe he lets Canelo land some shots just to see what he's bringing to the table. And then I'd probably say around late fourth, early fifth round, he starts walking Canelo down, cutting the ring off.
Hmm.
He would already by that point have invested to the body, so Canelo will be a little slow, and I see him stopping him by the sixth round at least.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Canelo swings too wide. He's more of a haymaker type of uh, puncher and stuff like that. And he does. It's like you said. He relies on the counter punch, and he's not gonna be willing to trade with Triple G because Triple G is more precise with his punches. So
Yeah.
it'll be a tough fight for Canelo, and I do understand where they're coming from. But another question for you: if you were Oscar De La Hoya, having to sort of tell Canelo what to do after this, how would you feel after the news is out? Like, what would you do if you were Oscar right now?
If I were Oscar, if I'm in this position right now, I would negotiate a fight with David Lemieux, try to make a fight for September happen.
With
Because
Triple G?
if you're not gonna fight Triple G, then you still gotta fight somebody credible.
So Canelo to fight David
Canelo
Lemieux.
fight David Lemieux because
Okay, that's a good one.
Triple G's already went out and proven what he could do against David Lemieux. He made David Lemieux look like an F-class fighter. Yeah, I had a friend who never watched David Lemieux fight. His first time watching David Lemieux fight was the Triple G fight, and he thought David Lemieux was garbage. Then he watched David Lemieux fight Glenn Tapia, and he was like, "Dang, Triple G really is the truth," because David Lemieux looked pretty damn good in that fight. So I think that's a good fight for Canelo. I think Lemieux is obviously not as talented or as skilled as Triple G, but he's probably more explosive. He's just as hard of a puncher than Triple G. So I would like to see that fight because if he can prove to not just me but the boxing world at large that he can get past at least a David Lemieux caliber fighter, a guy who was an ex-champion, a guy who is pound for pound at middleweight one of the hardest punchers out right now.
Yep.
Then he can still prove to me that he's a legitimate middleweight. But as it stands now, Canelo his career is a farce to me. It's an illusion. It's a smokescreen to sell pay-per-views and further facilitate the business of Golden Boy Promotions. It has no legitimacy in me or holds no weight. That's my opinion on it.
And it kind of stinks because there was a time before Canelo signed with Boy. He was like a miniature version in Mexico of Gennady Golovkin. He was knocking a lot of people out. If you look at his early career, he was doing that a lot. And he started young, and he was a lion. But that's not the case anymore. You can't keep training the same way and thinking the higher you go up, the more you're gonna run into bums. It don't work like that, man. You're supposed to get in the ring with world-class fighters, and honestly, I give him props for getting in the ring with Cotto, but Cotto's not a middleweight, and everyone's starting to realize what Canelo's really made of, and some of it I really have to hold it against Oscar. It's not Canelo's fault. It's Oscar. Yeah, I really believe that Canelo wants to fight him, even though he'll lose. I don't think he's that much of a chicken.
Yeah. Well, I'll think it's Oscar. It's Bernard as well. I mean, I love Bernard Hopkins. I'm a huge
Bernard's on the team too. Yeah, you're right.
So Bernard, we got to hold Bernard accountable too because I think him more so than Oscar actually has been pushing the whole we want to make the best fights happen for the fans BS. But and I'll give Golden Boy Promotions credit. They have put on some good quality cards. We had the Matisse Postal fight last year, which is pretty good. Matisse, whatchamacallit? Provodnikov, Luis Ortiz had some.
That was a good one. I loved that one actually.
Yeah, they put on some good fights. It's just when it comes to Canelo, they know that outside of Canelo, they don't have anybody that transcends boxing or brings them that kind of business. And a lot of that is their fault. Like I was telling you before this hangout even started, a lot of that is their fault. They have a guy named Luis Ortiz that is the most skilled heavyweight in the world that has a style and he fights in a way that attracts the casual boxing fans. He's very athletic and punches really hard and got shoulders like King Kong. And
he's Hispanic. He's already seasoned. He comes from that Cuban background. He can relate to the boxing
But
world. I mean, how many Hispanic champions have we had before that were similar to that? The guy was just
yeah,
knocking dudes out.
how many like legitimate top level like heavyweight champions have we ever had that were like Hispanic?
Not that much. I mean, I was talking about on the personal level how the fans could relate, but on the heavyweight side, this is the first time. We should be taking granted of that.
Yes, and it really frustrates me. And I forgot who was made the video on the YTBC because I wanted to give him credit because he brought this to my attention. But he said that he was scratching his head because you have the most skilled heavyweight in the world, but he hasn't even fought on. You would think that Oscar will want to push his second best fighter or like at least second biggest name into the limelight, but yet Luis Ortiz has never fought on any Canelo undercard. Canelo undercard, the last two, the one against Cotto got 900,000
Oh,
pay-per-view
that's
buys.
interesting.
Last one got 900,000 pay-per-view buys against Cotto. Wasn't on the undercard. They had Rigondeaux on the undercard, and people hated that fight. And then this last one with Khan, I mean, it was a solid undercard, but Luis Ortiz wasn't on that either. So why isn't Golden Boy Promotions pairing him up, kind of like we see with Roman Gonzalez and Triple G?
There's got to be something up with that. I hate to guess. I don't want to be the guy that just, reaching and stuff like that. But maybe he's got a dual contract with Golden Boy and HBO, or it could be something going on like that, where he doesn't have all the percentage towards Luis Ortiz, because there's a lot of boxers out there that they're tied to Showtime or CBS or whatever, and then they're not owned by the promoter. And I would think that could be a possibility because he lost a lot of his stable. And I'm talking about Oscar De La Hoya. A few years ago, he wasn't in this position. He had a lot of fighters in this possession, and he was doing really good. And then Sherman left, right? Is it Sherman? Schaefer. I'm sorry, Richard Schaefer. He left. He took off, and he joined the Al Heyman team. And now it's just, he's starting from nothing again with Canelo and Luis Ortiz, David Lemieux. A couple fighters. They're not all bad. They're not bad. It's just that he doesn't have enough fighters. And I think you're right. You should be taking more challenges with Luis Ortiz, especially how Triple G does. He puts Roman Gonzalez on the card, and right there they sell tickets every time. They sell out like nothing.
Well, so, and if you think about it too, like if you look at like what Tom Loeffler of KT Promotions has done, like think about what's happening at Triple G, and not just Triple G, but Roman Gonzalez as well. Triple G speaks a very special brand of English. He's not very fluent in English. Roman Gonzalez doesn't speak any English, but yet these guys are going from New York City to LA, and they're fighting in front of packed houses at the Garden and the Forum, and that's hard to do. And a lot of that is because Tom Loeffler is putting in the groundwork and has put in the groundwork to make Triple G a lot more popular, a lot more well known, and get his story out there. A household name, exactly. And you don't see that with Golden Boy Promotions. Just everything. In fact, if me and you didn't know anything about boxing, we would think that Canelo is the only fighter that fights on Golden Boy Promotions.
Yeah.
Because that's the only guy they push, really.
And what's funny? Even when he did have his stable, he still promoted that way.
Yeah.
It was always like smoke and mirrors, like you're saying. I mean, I always found it fishy that Canelo fought James Kirkland, and I'm sorry that for anybody that enjoyed that fight, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? If you liked it, you enjoyed it, it's cool. Because I looked at the whole build up for it, and it was all right, but I never thought that James Kirkland could beat Canelo, ever.
Well, I didn't think. Well, I didn't think so either. Just because number one, if I remember correctly, he had a layoff, and Ann Wolf wasn't his trainer. We know he's not the same fighter without Ann Wolf, and he was coming off of a string of drug relapses and stuff like that. So he's not even supposed to be in the boxing ring, let alone fighting Canelo Alvarez. So I mean, I thought it was weird. I thought it was ridiculous, that fight. And like, even if you look at like before he even got to I guess 160, when he was at middleweight or junior middleweight, I should say, when he was at 154, his best win, and I made a video saying this, the best KO of his career, the best fighter he ever KO'd prior to Amir Khan was Kermit Cintron. And Kermit Cintron is known as a pretty solid welterweight, but he fought Canelo at 154. And Kermit Cintron's record at 154, I believe, is 2-4-1. And Canelo beat him pretty easily, but like he's this is not like him bringing up guys and being a weight bully. It hasn't been a new thing. Like he did it at 154, and he's doing it now at I guess 155 since it's a new division, but I guess technically we're middleweight. So to me, it's like it's really hard to just judge Canelo's career or even like give him the credit that many people feel he deserves because.
It's padded, it's padded. I mean, look at the guys he's fought. He fought Cotto. That's a guy that he hasn't had too many great opponents. Before he fought Canelo. Same thing that was going on with when he fought Shane Mosley. These guys were all like looking to retire, looking towards the island. That big sunrise that's coming over the lakes and the rivers and the ocean and the beach.
All those guys I think about at that point in their career was drinking blueberry mojitos and laying on a recliner because
it's
at that part of their career.
They're done, and they got a lot of frequent flying mileage and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, we're gonna switch gears here in a minute, but before we go, do you think the fight happens at all? Period. Do you think the fight will ever happen between Triple G and Canelo?
I don't think so. I'm sorry. You can't think for that long. You can't wait for that long. We've been talking about this fight since last year, before Maypac, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking about this before Maypac or around Maypac? I'm done with this thing, And my problem is, where's Triple G gonna fight now? I mean, I don't want him to feel like he can't get that push, but I guess people want to see him get all those titles. So
yeah, I do too. To answer that question though, I would actually like to see and I'm gonna shout out to people in the YTBC. I'm gonna shout out number 1, Blood Boxing, and I'm gonna shout out Precise Presenter because first of all, both of them do great work on their YouTube channels, and both of them said something that actually ties into what I'm about to say. I'll start with what Precise Presenter said. He made a video about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but he said that the 154-pound division is the division of duckers because a lot of those guys are really 160-pounders just fighting at 154. And Blood Boxing was saying earlier in a video I watched that he would like to see if Triple G can't get a Canelo fight, he's not going to hold him to moving up to 168. He thinks he should stay at 160 and fight the guys at 154. So the Charlos, the Lauras, the Austin Trouts, the Julian Williams, those guys. He says he wouldn't mind Golovkin fighting those guys. And I'm all for that because really once those guys rehydrate, they're almost about the same size as Triple G. So I wouldn't mind seeing him fight either one of the Charlo brothers. I think that'd be fun. Those would be fun fights. I know a lot of people, cough cough, Dante's Boxing Nation, won't want to see them fight Arizlandi Lara because they think he'd lose to Lara. Just a lot of good fights if those fights.
You there, Brent?
Hello? Damn. Raf cut out on me. Well, yeah. Until Raf comes back, I guess I'll just talk. But yeah, the 154. If he's ever able to get fights within the 154-pound division. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I guess it broke
what
out.
was that saying before you cut out?
Well, you were saying how the 154 guys that's the division of duckers and how they should move up. Laura, Trout.
Yeah, they should move up to fight Triple G. Because number one for them, that if they can go up and beat Triple G, that puts them right into superstardom. And two, a lot of these guys that fight at 154, when they rehydrate, they're about the same size as Triple G. So it's not like it's a whole lot to ask of those guys. Especially if we're talking about guys like the Charlos who are like in their mid-20s, who are in their physical primes, because they rehydrate a lot on fight night. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. But outside of that,
there's rumors of Chris Eubanks as well. Chris
Yeah,
Eubanks Jr.
we've heard of the Chris Eubank rumors. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be a good fight. Even like a Gilberto Ramirez fight. That'd be okay with me.
Oh yeah. That's a solid one.
Gilberto Ramirez, like as far as 168, Gilberto Ramirez, Eubank is fine. James DeGale. There you go, James DeGale.
Well, why isn't the Ramirez fight taken more serious? I don't understand.
I don't know. That fight actually makes a lot of business sense because, like, obviously you have a lot of Mexican fans loving Triple G. Gilberto Ramirez is a Mexican champion as well. I mean, that's like in theory, that's a Mexican super fight. In theory.
I mean, it's sort of ignored, sort of, but I guess, Triple G is trying to scoot Canelo out of the way. Did you ever get to see the Instagram post that Triple G posted?
I heard about it. I didn't really look at it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, he said that he won the title easy work. He put a picture of him saying, "Give me my belt," and Canelo's like with his head down saying, "Okay." And he said, "What was this? Surrender without a fight." He said it in Spanish too, which makes him more of a Triple G.
Wow.
It's his way of throwing salt in Canelo's eyes while he's down, because you can't tell a boxer, a true boxer, a guy that's knocked people out himself. He's knocked out a lot of guys. You can't tell him that he doesn't want to fight Triple G, even if he's gonna lose. Why? Like I don't get that. That's the part that kind of weirds me out.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna have to just focus on what he wants to do now, because he's basically taking the mantle without the fame and all that stuff.
That's true. He has. Hold on, I have to put my charger in. Hold on. But yeah, he's
that die.
Yeah, you can't. But yeah, he's definitely getting more famous off this. Like I was at work today, and I was on ESPN all day. They were talking about the top 3 stories was the Knicks getting a new coach, something about RG3, and then this all day long today.
Wow, 3.
Yeah, so boxing was being talked about all day today because of this, and all you kept hearing was Golovkin, 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 Golovkin. So
wow.
Yeah, it's gonna get him more famous. It's gonna get him more fans the same way, kind of. Well, actually, no, not the same way, because for whatever reason, people in America don't like Lennox Lewis that much. But I'm saying a lot of people do like Lennox Lewis, and they don't like Riddick Bowe because of what happened when Bowe vacated the title.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Do you think it would be a mistake if Triple G would start taking some of his fights to his country?
Interesting. I never thought about that. I don't know. I don't think it would be. I mean, it'd be actually a good thing if he brought at least one of those fights back there, just so he can kind of fight in front of his hometown fans. Because
just one time for him,
Yeah, because he hasn't really had any fights in his hometown since he was like a prospect.
Exactly, and he has to go back with some kind of, some kind of pride or whatever. But those countries, sometimes they're not big on boxing like that. It's just something that he would have to do eventually down the line. I feel sometimes American boxers fear that they're gonna take all the titles and go over there to the countries.
Yeah, American boxers need to step their game up, because I mean, to be honest, the state of American boxing, I'm talking to the American fighters, is sad right now. It's straight sad. Really, the only American boxers that are like that I can think of off the top of my head who are really doing anything noteworthy is Terrence Crawford. That's it.
And this is no disrespect to any amateur fighters.
I'm talking about on the professional elite level of boxing.
Yeah. That's what we're talking. We're not talking about anybody that's in the golden. What's it called?
We're not talking about Shakur Stevenson, who'll be in the Olympics this year. We're not talking about anybody who's a prospect like Devin Haney, who has like 5 fights. We're talking about guys who are on the world championship level of boxing. World championship level of boxing.
That have been on TV.
That have been on TV multiple times and fought for titles. The only guy that is really doing anything truly great at this point is Terrence Crawford, because he's fighting Victor Postol in a unification fight, putting that on line against another guy who can very easily just beat him in a true 50-50 fight. You know what? Not just Terrence Crawford. Even like Keith Thurman and Sean Porter for having their fight, I give them credit too. But I say Terrence Crawford because the way he's been winning his fights, regardless of who people say it's against, the way he's been winning his fights have been sensational. They have been fun to watch. They have entertaining. If you're somebody who didn't know who this guy was and you watched the fight for the first time, you'd want to see more of him. And I don't think you can say that for a lot of American champions right now. I mean, I know a lot of people when they get a chance to watch this video and they get to this part, they're gonna say, "Oh, what about Andre Ward?" Andre Ward is a great fighter, but Andre Ward has to prove himself. He has to reprove. Yes, he won the Super 6. We know he won the Super 6. Clap it up. Won the Super 6. He did a great job. But he's got to prove himself. He's got to beat a legitimate light heavyweight, and that doesn't mean if he beats Sergey Kovalev, great. But if he loses Sergey Kovalev, still go beat a Andre Fonfara. Go beat if you can get an Adonis Stevenson fight somehow, go beat him. Go beat somebody legitimate, and then I'll be happy to say that Andre Ward is an American fighter doing something. But I mean, mostly the American champions are not doing a good job, or are fighting or being protected because of the fact that they're American fighters. So
yeah,
it's just a sad state of affairs in American boxing right now.
Some of them are food. They are literally food for some of these guys that come from other countries and are dominating, like a Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
That they get in the ring and they look at them like they're green almost.
Yeah,
like they're green for a guy like that.
It's like
pedigree, man.
If we talk about heavyweights, right? You mentioned Luis Ortiz. If you look at a guy like Deontay Wilder, he has 34 fights, which on the surface looks like it's great. He's got 34 fights, but really that 34 fights is not against a whole lot of top level experience. And
he's looking for it.
And he's still the Povetkin fight that got canceled. That was going to be the biggest test of his career. Now it's not going to happen. But if you were to take Deontay Wilder, a guy with 34 fights, right, from America, very marketable, tall, knockout power, all the stuff you look for, and
entertaining as well.
Entertaining as well, but he hasn't really beat A-level fighter like that. He beat Randy Stavern, we give him credit, but hasn't beat A-level fighter like that. But take him and take a guy like Anthony Joshua, who only has 16 fights. His best win is against Dillian White, and if they were to fight right now, you can't sit here and tell me that would not be a 50-50 fight right now, because Joshua has the amateur experience, was a gold medalist. He's
got the fan base and everything.
Fan base, obviously, but I'm talking about strictly boxing. Has the knockout power, athleticism to beat Deontay Wilder. So it's just like I want an American fighter to take over the sport of boxing. I would love nothing more than that. But a lot of the American champions, and I'm sorry to say, I'm just gonna come out and say it, a lot of them are promoted by Al Heyman, and they're being protected. And it's just hard to get behind a lot of them, like the Wilders, the Garcias of the world. Earl Spencer's a guy I like, but he's still got some developing to do himself. So it's like,
right, Danny Garcia. I see what you're saying. Danny Garcia, guys like that. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And you guys got to do your homework, man. I'm still willing to give anyone $50 of my own money if you can find an Al Heyman interview on YouTube or Daily Motion or Vimeo, any of those. If you have a video of a guy asking Al Heyman questions, send it to me and I'll give you $50 of my own money.
There we go. I'll chip in and I'll give you $5.
Is it 55? Oh, sounds like Canelo money.
Well, it's the Canelo money. That's the $55 bill.
With Canelo's face.
Yeah.
Make sure his hair is bright red.
But yeah, man, I mean, American champions, step it up, man. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about a lot of American fighters is I noticed that, like, the ones that should be promoted, like the ones with the really great personalities who want to fight everybody, don't get promoted as much as like other guys. Like, I'll give you an example. They might not be as skilled as other American fighters, but I'll give you an example. Like, take a guy like Hank Lundy, who has had his his string of losses. You know, a couple of them have been robberies. That guy should be getting promoted more. I mean, the guy doesn't have like devastating knockout power, but he's got good skills. You know, obviously he'll fight anybody. He's proven that already. He went to the Ukraine and fought Victor Postal, and really, that fight was really close. I mean, a lot of people think he won that fight. The first time I watched it, I thought he won the fight.
That was a good fight.
And nobody's really promoting Hank Glennie like that. And there's a ton of guys like that in American boxing. So it's like, I'm just hoping that American boxing can regain some of its glory. Starting with this Thurman Porter fight, maybe with Deontay Wilder, starting to legitimize himself by fighting somebody. We got good prospects coming up. Devin Haney, who's supposed to be really good, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do you know anything about Devin Haney?
No.
Devin Haney's this guy this kid. He's like 17 years old. He has like 6 professional fights, and Roger Mayweather, or not Roger, Floyd Sr. is his trainer. He trains out in Vegas a lot, actually.
Really?
And, yeah, he's actually the youngest fighter to ever fight the MGM Grand. He fought on the Pacquiao undercard.
Wait, I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like him. He's got good skills. I think he has a great chance to go far in the sport. But it's like with guys like that, it's almost like they get too much.
Yes, I do know him.
Yeah. Talented fighter. I'm rooting for the guy, but with kids like that, like you have to be a really special person to get that much fame and that much attention that early and not screw it up. And only time will tell. He's a good fighter, but only time will tell. But yeah, I mean, hopefully with guys like him and the other kid I interviewed that's going to the Olympics this year, Shakur Stevenson, that American boxing can, you know.
Don't forget about your man, Spence.
Earl Spence, I mentioned him earlier. Earl Spence, that's right. Earl Spence.
Yeah, man.
Keith Thurman.
About Earl Spence.
I mean, but listen, you already know though. Like, when it comes to as far as American fighters go, Terence Crawford's the truth. That dude. I think he's gonna beat anybody once, as long as his power carries somewhat up to 147. I think he beats anybody at 147.
Yeah, and he's with. Sorry to say, but he's with a promotional team that won't, just protect him so much.
No, Bob Arum is willing to put him in fights that he can lose. Like look at this fight right here. He's fighting Victor Postal. It's a fight that he's a slight favorite in, but he can easily lose. Victor Postal is very capable of beating Terence Crawford. So
and it just works out for him, for the promotional team. If Crawford wins with a big knockout or something and he impresses, this moves everything forward for him to get bigger fights.
Especially if he does it. I mean, Postal's an undefeated world champion in his prime, fighting at his natural weight.
Yeah.
It's like a great one.
That's a good fight.
I can't wait for that one. I'm really excited for that one. We also, we're talking about guys being protected and whatnot, and circus acts in boxing. Let's talk about Mayweather McGregor. That fight is very hot topic right now. What is your overall take on the Mayweather McGregor fight?
I am I don't care about the fight necessarily. I don't care if it happens. I'll watch it. I don't know if I'm going to pay for it, but I'll watch it. But go towards his record. So if he's 49-0, which he is, if he fights McGregor, I don't think it should go towards his record. Like, why is it that Floyd Mayweather bought the copyrights to the number 50 when he hasn't even fought him yet? Is that him saying that he's already going to win? Like, what is that supposed to mean? So that's what I get tired about Floyd, is that, there's no one to tell him that that's not credible. Like, what he's doing is not credible, fighting Conor McGregor. But hey, I would watch it. I know Conor McGregor is a guy that likes money. He's a Vegas guy, and he'll bring all his MMA fans and stuff like that. But I think that fight is more for the elite, for the people that have the money to pay for those tickets and to take pictures and, be there with Beyonce and Jay-Z and all those type of people that can afford those tickets to that place. And, they'll enjoy it. But that's not for me and you, man. Nah. You know what I mean? That's not for a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or an MMA fan at that either.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. I don't mind seeing it, but I don't see it to be very competitive.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this, and right now as I'm talking, there's 6 people watching this. So if any 6 of you are Mayweather fans, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say. But I have long criticized Floyd Mayweather for some of the crap he's pulled in boxing. But if he fights Conor McGregor, I know you can make all excuses for the world. You can say it's for the money. You can say it's for this and it's for that. But if he fights Conor McGregor, he has officially taken the biggest crap on the sport of boxing you could ever do. Because, I mean, look, Conor McGregor, listen, let's just use common sense here for a second. Regardless of how great he is as an athlete or an MMA fighter, if I make pizza, okay, if I make pizza every single day, and you make soup every single day, and you never made pizza in your life, and you try to make pizza, all of a sudden, and you try to outdo me in the pizza department, you're gonna lose, because that's what I do every day, and it's no different with Conor McGregor and Floyd. So it's like it's a joke, it's a huge joke, and you know Floyd, obviously. There's no doubt that he has all-time great skills, but I can't put him really high in the all-time greats because of, you know, it's been already documented by other people in the YTBC of who he ducked, when he ducked him, and how he ducked him. But
right,
fighting Conor McGregor when you said you were retired, and then when you retired, you didn't even fight like a legitimate, like real credible threat. You fought Berto, which is like, you know, whatever, just because you want to look good. To fight Conor McGregor, I feel like you're not just disrespecting box fans. He is literally disrespecting his own fan base by insulting their intelligence. And they're going to buy this fight, and, you know, they're going to eat up the hype because Showtime has already put out pictures, and they asked fans, I don't know if you saw that on the Showtime Facebook page, they asked fans, they said, oh, who would win the fight between Mayweather and McGregor?
Wow.
Official Showtime Facebook page. I was like, are they seriously pushing this right now? And I was just like, man, like, at what point do we just say enough is enough and tell Floyd, like, look, there's only, like, I know he wants his money, which is why I know he's making the fight, but
that's why I'm saying that the fight is a possibility it could happen, because it's not for me and you.
No, it's not.
This is for the elite, brother.
It's for the elite.
They have the money for this. The people that are going to fund this are the people that are not boxing fans. It's just like,
can't you say that? But
TMZ in a way, and the CBS and all those guys, like, they're the big money guys. They're the ones that.
But in a way, can't you say that, like, the Pacquiao Mayweather fight itself wasn't for people like me and you? Because if you think about it, people like me and you, if we wanted to, couldn't get tickets to that damn fight. They withheld, like, the MGM Grand seats, like what, 17,000, 18,000 people.
Yeah.
They withheld like 16,000 tickets, and only 1,000 or so or 2,000 or so were on the market for people to buy. So even that fight, a fight between two of the best boxers of this era, didn't even, me and you, if we wanted to, couldn't have a chance to go watch it in person because there weren't that many tickets, and the ones that were on sale were so outrageously priced that in order for us to go, we would have to, like, go homeless and just miss our rent.
Or our mortgage or whatever. But, you know, it was the same thing for the weigh-in.
Weigh-in, yeah. They charged
it was impossible to get in there. I tried to get in there. The same thing happened with the hotels. Any property that wasn't an MGM hotel, they were not showing the fight. So imagine if you came to Vegas because you want to feel the atmosphere and you got a hotel room, but it's not an MGM property, the fight is not going to be played in your hotel room.
That's insane. I didn't know that, actually. That really happened? Like, if you want...
That's Vegas stuff, like Vegas news, you know, whatever. That's what happened here, and you know, I don't know. It's like you're saying, it is circus feel, you know. That's how I feel from it. And like you said, there's going to be people that are going to be eating it up. Like McGregor's fans are going to be eating it up as well, because the Mayweather, from what I hear, the Mayweather fans and the McGregor fans are similar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I don't watch.
That's the thing. I don't watch it either, but from what I've heard, McGregor's a very entertaining boxer, but he's also a rebel, and he tells UFC to, you know, kick rocks,
Yeah.
and he does what he wants.
Yeah.
So he's a money man. He loves money, and that's why I could see him taking this fight. But the whole 9-figure thing, it kind of trips me out. And that's why I'm saying is that this fight is not for me and you. This fight is for Jay-Z and those guys, Warren Buffett, and oh my God, guys that they don't even hesitate. They'll just watch it just to go there, and they'll go and take pictures. That's it. They'll go and say that they were there, almost as if it's a red carpet event. And that's what Mayweather has become. And it's kind of trippy because, in a sense, it's positive. At the same time, it just shows like he's just mocking the sport.
It's insane.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my video, man, if Muhammad Ali fought Hulk Hogan back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali fights Hulk Hogan. He tells him to put on the gloves, comes into the boxing ring. Let's go, let's fight. Are you telling me after that fight is over, the official boxing match? Like, come on, this is the fight that you shouldn't even be taking that serious. And to see that Mayweather's gonna get 9 figures from that, that's insane, bro.
He might as well just
insane.
He might as well just get 9 figures for sitting on his couch. If he get 9 figures for that.
Basically, because he boxes like nothing. He could box so much around McGregor. He's not gonna even have a chance. He doesn't even have to knock him out. And that's the crazy thing. Me and my buddy were talking about it as well. And the crazy thing is that McGregor does have a small chance just because Mayweather probably won't knock him out either. So you're going to watch 12 rounds of this crap, and you're not even going to know who's going to really win. But at the end of the day, you know that the judges are going to say Mayweather.
Yeah, unless McGregor lands like a Hail Mary shot and like knocks out Floyd unconscious, Mayweather's winning on the cards.
Yeah, but that's what every fight is with Mayweather.
No, I know. Like, I mean, it's hilarious, bro. Because hypothetically speaking, if Conor McGregor knocked down Floyd on the canvas every round, Mayweather would still win on the cards.
Wow, that really sucks. And the crazy thing is that this guy, the UFC president Dana White, he doesn't even really back McGregor. So McGregor's doing this on his own for the money, man. So I could see it happening.
And when he loses, he's gonna get clowned so hard by everybody in the UFC, like everybody.
Yeah. A lot of UFC fans are actually disappointed in McGregor.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty damn bad. But yeah, man. Wow. Okay, well, transition. We got fights coming up this weekend. I know. I told you earlier, I'm not like ridiculously excited for them. I'm gonna watch them, but I'm not ridiculously excited for them. We have Aristotle Lara in a rematch with Vanes Martirosyan. We got. Oh, I see you, Rev. I see you. Yeah, we got Lara in a rematch versus Vanes Martirosyan, and we got I forget which Charlo it is. So excuse me if I'm wrong. I get them confused all the time. We got Jermell Charlo, I believe, Jamal Charlo is fighting Austin Trout, and then Jermell Charlo is fighting John Jackson. So, off the rip, Raf, what are your thoughts on any of those fights? It doesn't matter which one.
To be honest with you, I don't really follow these guys like that, but I do want to see what the Charlo brothers could bring to the table. I want to see if Lara still has what it takes because he's still calling out Triple G. So, want to see what he could do there, and then of course, I want to see what Trout could do too. But that's it, man. I'm not really into those guys. I don't really watch them like that. When it comes to those kind of fights, I watch almost as a casual fan. Yeah. Because when was the last time Trout had a big fight? Wasn't it versus Canelo?
Man. Yeah. Well, I watched his last fight. It was one of those random PBC Tuesday night fights.
Ah, okay.
He fought this guy named what was his name? Joey Hernandez, some guy who was like a gatekeeper, and he beat him pretty easily. Oh. I watched one of those PBC fights that they always have in like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Oh, never been there.
I just know they have a bunch of PBC fights there, and like my boy, shout out to DC Mike TV and Don Juan Banks. They always be going to those fights.
Oh yeah. DC, yeah, I have DC on my Instagram.
Oh yeah. I love that guy. That's my guy. But yeah, man. I mean, it's
What are
fun.
your takes on those guys?
Huh?
What are your takes on those fights?
Oh, I mean, Lara Vadas Rosa. That's gonna be the good fight because that was a pretty competitive fight the first time they fought. Um, and then, man, to be honest, I really don't care about much of these fights. The only one I'm really interested in is to see. I think I'm not sure if it's Jamal or Jermel. I think it's Jamal Charlo. He's fighting Austin Trout. The Charlo versus Austin Trout fight is the one I'm most interested in, just because I
And
really
is
don't know
this
much
gonna
about
be on television or YouTube?
Showtime.
Oh, okay.
Showtime,
TV.
yes. So I mean, it's gonna be a solid card. I mean, to be honest, if it was possible, if they weren't in the UK, I'd rather watch David Haye and Arnold Jurajai and Shannon Briggs versus
Let's go, champ.
yeah, whoever it is. I would rather watch that, to be honest with you.
Let's go, champ.
Just because I know it'll be like ridiculously exciting at some point. Like I know like if when David Haye knocks out his opponent, Shannon will jump in the ring and get in his face and start saying "Let's go, champ," and I said, "Yeah,
Champ,
time the contract.
champ,
Champ." Shout out to Shannon Briggs.
Let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ. But yeah, I mean he's fighting this week. He's fighting.
That should be entertaining, man.
I forgot the guy's name. He's fighting some guy with like 14 losses. Oh God. Wow.
Shannon the Cannon, 2-time heavyweight champion.
Wow. Yeah, but all he's got to do is just win his fight, and then from what is being said, that him and David Haye are supposed to fight in September. I wouldn't mind that fight. It's actually a decent fight.
Yeah, I look forward to that one.
Shannon can get his last payday if he does lose that fight. But if he wins, if he somehow pulls it out and he wins,
champ,
champ,
champ.
Oh man,
I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh my gosh, that would be hype, man. And then maybe he'll even fight Klitschko. Who knows? Because
I don't know, man. I hope he wins this fight, and I'm gonna be rooting super hard for him against David Haye. You know what, bro? When he fights David Haye, I might try to go to England for that. I might try to go to England.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Brendan Taylor to England.
England. I never even been out this country, but I'll go to England.
Get your passports ready.
Gotta get my passport, get my paperwork in order. But yeah, man. Good luck to Shannon Briggs this weekend. I hope he pulls it out. But what else we got in boxing, man? What else we got?
Don't forget, I did tell you about, and see, a lot of people don't know about this, and actually Brendan found this a little funny, but Shane Mosley.
Oh God.
Is looking like he might be the mandatory for the next fight between Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. So whoever wins that fight, Shane Mosley is the mandatory if he wins his next fight. That's his guy. But, you know, it's not a big name or anything. I don't know what's his name. But he's the mandatory for Sean Porter versus Keith Thurman. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that one.
Yeah. We got to look more into that because I don't know if he's just talking or if is that legitimate because that can't be true. In what world is that true? That's like some
It's official via Twitter.
I know he's saying it, but I'm saying like we have to go to the sanctioning body rankings here. We got to see where he's actually at. And if he's anywhere near the top 10, I swear somebody paid somebody.
Yeah, I don't know how that's happening because he's still been fighting club fighters, you know.
The last guy he fought was Ricardo Mayorga, right?
Yeah, and that's not a real fight. Like that's not a sanctioned fight. That's not like a real ranked fight. I'm sorry.
Maybe like 8 years ago that was a real fight.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know.
That's insane. That's insane.
So there was also some news on Top Rank and Al Heyman.
Oh, yes.
Settling antitrust lawsuit. And looks like the key and the goal is here to start doing business together as kind of like to break even. Of course, I'm sure Al Heyman's going to have to pay something, but the point is we could be seeing some matchups in the future. What would your take be if you got to see Timothy Bradley versus Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner versus Terrence Crawford? These fights haven't had the chance or the steam to happen because of the promoters that are in the background controlling things like puppeteers. Very talented. They have a lot to offer, and they're not world-class fighters for no reason. They've been through the amateurs. They've shown and proved they beat who they had to beat, but they need more opponents. So it would be awesome to see this happen. And there are some things that we still have to read up on this article, but it's great news from here on out, because if it does get settled, maybe some fights will happen in the next year or two.
Yeah, if we can get to that point in boxing where we got guys like Al Heyman and Bob Arum, it don't gotta be consistent, but at least put forth the effort to make the bigger fights, between their top fighters happen. That would be huge, man. You mentioned Terrence Crawford versus Adrian Broner. That's a fight that I know that I want to see. Not that I just want to see, but I know a lot of boxing fans have been wanting to see that, because I know there's a certain segment of people out there, for some odd reason, that think that Adrian Broner could beat Terrence Crawford, which is ridiculous.
I could see that fight going to 2 fights, even if I'm not saying that Broner's going to win, but I could see that having a sequel.
Yeah, I can see that, but
just on the entertainment level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
AB brings the entertainment, and we saw like when Terrence Crawford fought Hank Lundy. When you put a guy in front of Terrence who's got a mouthpiece, it brings out a different side of Terrence. So
it would be dope to see, and then we could also have the other promoters, K2 and main events getting in the mix. It would be awesome to see that. Golden Boy, all that.
Listen, the fight I want to see, if that is true, the fight I want to see out of all of them, I already told you earlier, is Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. So yeah, and I'll say why. He might be watching this right now, because I don't know, maybe he's watching it. But my boy Paul, my best friend Paul, his favorite fighter is Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia can do no wrong in his eyes. So I would like to see Terrence Crawford fight Danny Garcia, because not only just that, but they also have a little history in the amateurs. Nobody really knows what happened because there's no footage on it, but I know that from what I've read, Terrence beat Danny Garcia the first time pretty decisively, and then Danny edged out Terrence in the second fight. So I wouldn't mind seeing them fight just for that. Obviously, when Garcia had just left 140, Terrence was just coming into 140. So obviously that fight could happen, but yeah, man, that fight. I mean, there's so many great matchups that could happen.
And then we could start making the fights more about the titles again instead of money.
Yes, we could do that. That could work. We could have a host of good fights.
That's not just a perfect world. That actually used to happen.
It happened, yes. Way before I was born.
Yes, people actually used to fight for titles. Can you believe it?
No, now we don't fight we fight for the prize. I'm a prize fighter. The prize comes first.
No, we fight for honor and glory, like Canelo says. We put the titles to the side when we fight for honor and glory.
Listen, like Keith Thurman said, "Don't duck me, son." Remember when he said that?
Don't duck me, son.
Don't duck me, son. You better not duck
remember,
me,
he had the
son.
ball. I forgot who he said that to.
Paul Malignaggi.
Oh yes.
The other Paul had a title.
And Paulie was in the background acting like a journalist.
Yeah.
Shout out to Keith Thurman.
Yes, shout out to Keith Thurman, man.
He's a Florida boy, right? Isn't he a Florida boy?
He is a Florida boy, not from my neck of the woods, but he's from Florida. He's from Tampa, Clearwater, that area. I'm south. I'm closer to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, but yeah. Shout out to Keith Thurman.
Copy that.
Shout out to all the Tampa / Clearwater Media reporters I met at the Spence Algieri fight. Joseph, Correa, Hector Franco, all those guys over there. Front Proof Media. Those guys are pretty cool. But yeah, man, we got some. Oh yeah, did you see the Thurman Porter undercard? Who's on the undercard?
No.
There was a. I mean, obviously they had that Abner Mares fight that was supposed to happen. That'll be on the undercard, so he's gonna be fighting Jesus Cuellar.
I like Abner Mares. I like him. He's good.
Yeah, Mares versus Jesus Cuellar. Jesus Cuellar can fight too. He's pretty good. For the featherweight title, that'd be a good fight. And then we have the other guys you probably won't know, but this guy named Jarrett. I don't know if you know. Do you know what Jarrett Hurd is? Jarrett Hurd?
No, never heard of him.
He's pretty good. He's a prospect in the 154-pound division, and he fought on his last fight was on Showbox, and he beat this other guy Frank Galarza, who was undefeated as well, and everybody rated him pretty highly. He beat the crap out of Frank Galarza, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. Then you have Jose Benavidez' brother, David Benavidez, will be on the undercard, and then you have this other guy named Oscar Molina, who I've heard of. I haven't watched the fight, but I know of Oscar Molina. He'll be on the card, and then you have Heather Hardy, who's probably like top 3 or 4 best women's boxers in the world right now. So it'll be a good card.
Didn't you say that you met that
Heather Hardy? Yeah, I interviewed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said. I remember when I interviewed her, she said she wanted to be on this card, and she got her wish. So I'm happy for her. Awesome!
Congratulations to Heather Hardy.
Yeah, she gets a lot of fan support out there. A lot of people go to the fights just for her. It's crazy. Like when I was there, the first couple of fights, there weren't that many people there, but when she fought, it was pretty good atmosphere for her. A lot of people come to support her. She's bringing a lot of people from her neck of the woods that normally wouldn't watch boxing now. So I was saying in my video earlier that I feel like not just Heather Hardy, but women's boxing in general, because we see it in the UFC. Women's boxing in general should at least get a chance to shine on a bigger platform, because there are some talented women's fighters that are not getting a lot of recognition right now. We have guys like girls like Heather Hardy, Sinisha Estrada, and I'm gonna get to her in a minute. Sinisha Estrada, Heather Hardy, this girl from TMT that they're pushing hard now, Latondria Jones, the other girl, what's her name? She's like an undisputed champion. I forgot her name. Celia Brakis or something like that. She has like 4 titles, I think, in heavyweight, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, she's really good. So like, there's
I know Layla Ali went through that kind of stuff when she was champ.
Yeah. There's a lot of talented women's fighters. It's just they need a platform. And a lot of them too. It's like, look at the UFC and you look at how like Big Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate, Cyborg, Holly Holm, all those girls, like, they're talented at what they do. But if you're looking at it from like a marketing standpoint, a lot of these women's boxers, and this is just me, like especially when you talk about a woman like Sinisha Estrada, that girl's fine. She's like one of the most, like, if the right promoter got behind her, she could be one of the most popular athletes in the world, because she's really humble, she's nice, she's obviously super sexy, like she's really good at fighting. Roy Jones Jr. has like co-signed her and everything. Like she can fight, she's good. It's just about getting them the platform, and I wouldn't mind seeing them get that chance, getting that fair shake. And I don't proclaim to be like this ridiculously huge women's boxing fan, but I'm a boxing fan, and anybody who puts on those gloves, I've been in the ring with women. Some women can fight, so I feel like they should get the chance to at least prove themselves on that platform, because there hasn't really been. I can't remember the last time I saw women's boxing on TV, to be honest with you.
Wow. I don't even remember the last time I saw any women's boxing too. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I hope eventually we start seeing. I'm surprised like PBC or someone hasn't went that route yet, because you would think they would see the MMA model and how they have been successful with their women's division. Why wouldn't boxing try to go that route? And
yeah, I've been curious about that. Like, why don't they stack the cards a little more? I mean, some of these fights, Canelo fights, the Triple G fights, they only have like 2 or 3 guys on the card. I mean, they should have more fights, and if they can't find more fights, then put some women in there.
Yeah,
Stack the
and
card up
to be
a little
honest, like sometimes you kind of. I honestly, when people say like, "Oh, women shouldn't fight on TV," it's like, okay, you can have your opinion, but like when I watch some of these fights, sometimes it's like, dang, the men ain't really entertaining me. Like they're not. If I'm a fan and I'm paying top dollar to go
bit.
watch whatever fight I'm at, and the undercard is just trash. Like I can't. What was the last card I watched? Oh yeah, the last boxing card I watched was last Friday. Last Friday, yeah, I watched the Showbox card, and it was all Mayweather promotions. It was all Mayweather fighters. It was so bad. Like none of the fights were really that good, except maybe the first one, which I really didn't get to watch much of. But outside of that, it was so bad that the main event was Andrew Tabiti versus what's that dude's name? Andrew Tabiti versus this other prospect who was undefeated. And it was his first step up fight, and he did what he needed to do to win. But I mean, good God, I almost felt like I was watching like a Klitschko or Mayweather in there again.
Sometimes it's like they're sparring.
It's like the sparring, and it's like with certain fighters you're gonna get that level of intensity, but understand that like a lot of these women's boxers are hungry, and they're going to give it their all. And I'm not saying that's always going to produce the best fights, but you have a higher probability of that happening than with some of these other fighters who are paid well, who are comfortable, who have been on network television so many times. They understand that if they don't put on a good performance on that platform, they might not get another chance again. So that's my take on it. Maybe.
And I'm sure that they have family that's they come from it's a boxing family, and maybe their dad or their uncle. Why is it any different for women? Men, it's the same thing. They have that second generation, third generation. A lot of women, they come from that too. So, more stories on it. At least that's how I see it. At least some more footage.
Yeah. And I keep saying like I want to make a better effort to cover women's boxing. So I mean, I'm trying to do that still, but I mean, I feel like I have a responsibility as a boxing fan / someone who like does this, journalist. Like. You can't just cover I can't just sit in this little bubble and just cover the elite level of boxing all the time. I can't just cover Mayweather, Khan, Canelo, Thurman, all these guys. I gotta at some point cover the lower level fights, other fighters, things like that. Women's boxing.
Yeah, I'm on that bandwagon as well, man.
Yeah, because it's
real.
In other sport, do you really see that in baseball, you cover everything. Like if you're a baseball fan and you want to know about what
high school
prospects are doing in high school, you can figure that out. They have Baseball America for that. We don't really have that in boxing. The closest thing we have to Baseball America in boxing would be shout out to Mr. Boxing Today. It's his channel about heavyweights. He has the freaking whole heavyweight division covered, top to bottom. Guys that I have no clue about. He knows them like ridiculous, like the back of his hand. But that's one division. We don't have that for everything else. So it's I feel like I'm gonna have to be that guy that has to cover everything. I'm gonna be working my way towards that.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Yeah.
But yeah,
It'll
man.
Be a work in progress.
Yes.
Before we take off or anything, quick question for you. Any futures on Manny Pacquiao? He's now the senator. Do you see anything changing from that, or did you get anything back from that?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think, personally, I don't think Manny should be if he's in political office like that. I don't think he should be fighting again. It's just hard to go into an 8-week camp and know. I mean, he used to be involved in politics on a lower level. Now he's on a way higher level.
So you think his responsibilities have risen?
I think he's 100% focused on what he has to do in the Philippines.
He's probably needed out there.
He's needed a lot. He's needed a lot more in the Philippines than he is in Vegas.
There you go.
So, Vegas is going to get their money-making fight with McGregor and Mayweather. So that's my response to that.
Yeah, there's no way to counter something like that if someone's going to get 9 figures for it. Just go do your job and be for the people.
Just do what he has to do. I think he had a great career. Even if his last fight is going to be that debacle that was the Mayweather Pacquiao fight, I mean, to be honest, the way I look at it is like, Manny really didn't lose as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. I've watched that fight like 6 times since it happened. I've scored it like 3 or 4 different ways. I've had it a draw a couple times. I've had it, 7-5 Mayweather. One time or 2 times I had it 7-5 Pacquiao. I mean, it was a close fight.
And it's been dissected. They got the heat wave thing in the ring, and there's so many ways to dissect and count punches and all this stuff. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything, and these guys won't even talk about it. So.
No, they won't. And the thing is, too, like when it comes to that particular fight, for anybody to say that Mayweather beat the crap out of Pacquiao, or that Pacquiao beat the crap out of Mayweather, or anything of that nature, it's almost a joke because nobody. Of all the fights I've probably ever watched in boxing history that I've ever watched, there has not one fight where I can think to myself, oh my damn, nobody really separated themselves. Like neither one of them really did anything. Pacquiao had a really great round 3 and had a couple good flurries outside of that, but he wasn't able to sustain his attack. And then Mayweather didn't land a lot of clean punches. A lot of it was arm punches and punches that landed on Pacquiao's gloves that made a nice loud sound. But he had
Wouldn't you say that's similar to the Khan and Canelo? Because if you think about it, if Khan walks away, he's still gonna.
That's true. It is like Khan Canelo, but Khan was winning. Like Khan, that fight's decisive. You can see that with your eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody but HBO could see that with their eyes.
Millions upon millions saw the Maypac.
Exactly.
Right.
And what pisses me off about that fight, and I've said a million times, is like people that don't even know anything about boxing. That was for millions of people. That was their first impression on boxing. That was the first fight they ever watched.
Kids, everything.
Kids. So think about the damage that they have done. Promoting that fight for future generations. They're making MMA look very cool.
Oh, that was a little personal there.
Look, if you like MMA, that's not. I don't have any problem with it. I actually watched MMA last weekend with one of my friends. He's been getting into MMA, so I watched it with him. But it made MMA look more viable. It made boxing look like it's a sport for old guys or people that don't know what they're talking about. Well, what's all the, if you're a kid and you see that, if I'm 6 years old, I'm 7 years old, that's the first boxing match I ever see. I'm wondering what the hell all the hype's about.
Yeah.
So it's I think about that all the time too, because even if Canelo and Triple G do fight, it's gonna be a big fight, but it's gonna be like a quarter of what how big that fight was. So
yeah, it's not completely even. No matter how ready Canelo, I just don't see it style wise. It's just not. It's not an even match.
It's not.
I don't believe that he might have to move up.
Yes. And it's
sorry to say.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like boxing is gonna have a long way to go from a mainstream standpoint of recovering itself, because boxing already had enough black eyes before that. We had the corruption with the judges and the promoters, and the fights not
with the Holyfield stuff with Tyson and the biting.
That put here, PEDs, all the stuff. And it's almost like when you see the Mayweather Pacquiao, and then you start going through everything else that's happening in boxing to people.
De La Hoya with his cross dressing and
De La Hoya with his cross dressing. It's almost like people who don't watch boxing or aren't boxing fans will ask you why you like boxing so much. Nothing ever happens.
Right. It's true. And the problem with the general public at times, they don't see how everything lines up. So if Canelo fights Khan, a bunch of people go and watch Canelo and Khan. They don't understand what happens after that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, well, he knocked him out. What now? And then, nothing happens, because guess what? Canelo vacated the title. The guy that he told to come in the ring and told him that he's not afraid of him, he'll put the gloves on with him.
Right now.
He's not even gonna fight him. So that's a perfect example of why people don't want to watch boxing.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
It sucks.
Hopefully, you know, I'm hoping that like fights like Porter and Thurman and even like a Crawford and Post will do better than I anticipate them doing, like viewer wise. Like, okay, before we leave, I want to end on this note. If you're a boxing fan, I know a lot of boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, are really pissed off that Victor Postol Terrence Crawford is on pay-per-view, but it's I've looked at it already, and Bob Arum already said it. The pay-per-view is gonna be like $49. Okay, you guys complain about the best not fighting the best all the time, but yet here we have two guys who are undefeated in their prime, fighting at a weight that, you know, that's the natural weight for titles. And I know neither one of them is a pay-per-view fighter, but the pay-per-view is a cheap pay-per-view, and there's good fights on the undercard too as well. So if it's $49, you got a great fight at the end, good fights on the undercard. Support the damn sport. Support the fights that really deserve support. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
People in boxing, they support Berto Mayweather. They support Canelo. They'll support them just because of the name value. But here we have two guys that are really truly the best in their division, but people are complaining.
And they're fighting for the title.
They're fighting for the titles. Okay,
That's the number one thing.
Right? Unification. So I mean, listen, I know it's 20. I mean, I know times are hard, people, but if you're gonna spend money on a pay-per-view, spend it on this one. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah,
All right.
on that note, Raph, you got any final thoughts?
Only thing I want to say is that Conor McGregor thing. Don't believe the hype. I'll watch it, whatever, but that whole 50-0 thing, you throw that out the window right now.
Yeah.
Right now,
because of that. And yeah. Throw it out right now. But
49-0. That's where he stays. I don't care if he fights Conor McGregor or freaking Broom. It's 49-0 until he fights a real boxer.
That's right. If he fights Andy Garcia, we'll give him credit, but
yeah. But that's it. That's all I gotta say. You know, subscribe to both of our YouTubes. If you're new here, Brandon Taylor's doing his thing, man, and just keep watching, man. Keep coming back.
Yeah, man. True School Sports, Rex Righteous. By the way, you guys already know this, but a million views just hit it this morning. So been a long time coming. A million views strong, coming up on 2,000 subs. I'm coming for all you guys in the YTBC that got a head start on me. But yeah, man, stay tuned. Got some good stuff coming up. All right.
Awesome, man. Take care, guys.